So as we just heard, Korean workers detained in last week's immigration raid will be safely returning home, but the incident has set off alarm bells here in Seoul due to new risks for investment abroad. Questions now also remain over when the factory in Georgia will be completed, as it's now expected to be delayed by several months. For more on this, we're joined today by Professor Park Min-jung, professor at the Department of Business Administration at Kumoh National Institute of Technology. Professor Park, thanks for coming in today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
So this comes after South Korean companies, including Hyundai, agreed to invest $350 billion in the United States as part of a broader trade deal, right? How could the latest immigration raid affect other major U.S. investment plans and overall economic ties between Seoul and Washington?
Yeah, the immigration raid goes beyond law enforcement and carries significant implications for South Korean companies for large-scale investments in the U.S. and the broader perspectives, broader Seoul and Washington economic partnership. With firms like Hyundai pledging recently around $300 billion in U.S. investments, labor and compliance risks can directly affect project timelines and cost structures. In the short term, production delays and supply disruptions may arise, while in the long term, tax incentives and subsidies are closely tied to labor law compliance, raising the risks of clawbacks if violations recur. So the impact may even greater on suppliers, creating ripple effects across the entire value chain. So that is why Korean firms need a holistic compliance framework that extends to subcontractors as well in the future. So finally, still, this issue is unlikely to derail investment itself. But if both government uses it as an opportunity to strengthen labor and supply chain transparency, it could ultimately enhance the entire trust in U.S. and Korea economic cooperation.
I see, but industry insiders say that without these skilled Korean workers who will now be leaving the United States, completion of the factory in Georgia could be delayed by possibly several months. What kind of economic impact could this result in?
Yeah, the absence of skilled workers will almost certainly delay the factory's completion. Building a factory plant is not simply labor. It requires advanced technical expertise and also safety, very strict safety compliance, which cannot be replaced only overnight. So such delays would disrupt production timelines, ripple through the electric vehicle supply chain, affecting not only Hyundai and LG, but also the U.S. policies aimed at accelerating electric vehicle adoption. So economically, this means billions of dollars in investments returns will be postponed, while local job creation tax revenues are also delayed. So weakening strength means weakening regional growth also. So in the short term, this is not just a single factor issue. It could have broader implications for both the global supply chain and the local economy in the long-term perspectives.
See, and U.S. President Donald Trump is apparently trying to reduce the number of foreign-born workers in the U.S. He said the country should find a way to let experts come in and train American workers. How realistic is this plan?
Yeah, the Trump's delivery message means Trump's plan delivers have a political messaging, but in practice, it faces significant challenges. Industries like battery manufacturing and shipbuilding require highly specialized skills that cannot be transferred through short-term training alone. If foreign experts are allowed only as trainers, not as part of the core workforce, companies may face productivity gaps that delay factory completion. It may also slow investment returns and disrupt the U.S. electric vehicle supply chain in a whole strategy. So a more practical approach would be to maintain a balanced use of foreign skilled workers while simultaneously training and expanding U.S. and education programs also to gradually build domestic capacity. So it means a short term combining immediate productivity while long-term workforce development is the most realistic path forward.
I see. I guess we'll have to see how the bilateral economic ties play out. All right, Professor Park, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for your insight, as always.
Thank you.